can see that. What has it been like the last few months thinking about all of this coming to Bowman Gray, and then you get this announcement that the modified guys get to run that Madhouse Classic?
Well, you can imagine the excitement just with NASCAR being involved and knowing who's going to be watching this race and that it's coming to our backyard. It's pretty cool for us. It really is.
Jason, same question. What has been your mindset thinking about all of this, watching all the progress over there to make that track different and new, and that's another question I'll sort of get around to. But what do you think?
I'm excited to walk in and see it. You know, I've heard where people have been over there and putting pictures and stuff. I haven't seen anything. I don't really want to see it till I go over there because I am really excited about the transition, and I'm excited that they realize that we still need to be a part of that show as what's kept that place going for the last, since it opened. You know what I mean? The Saturday night modifieds.
Burt, what do you think about all of the changes? You've seen some of it. You went over there and walked around with Kyle a few weeks ago and have seen that. What sticks out?
Well, I'm old school, and there's a part of me that is a little bit saddened by the removal of the guardrails, just because anybody who's anybody in NASCAR racing that has raced at Bowman Gray, which is a lot of names that we grew up with, have run into that guardrail at some time or another, including our grandpa and great uncle and our dad and now us three. So to see those leave was a little bit saddening, but at the same time, it's hard to argue with progress and to realize that what they are doing to the place now is an investment for the future. So I can see that place racing in another 100 years from now.
Yeah, for sure. We're sitting here with you guys, 3 generations of Myers. It started with the generation above your dad, with your grandfather and your uncle. It's weird for me to say Uncle Bobby because I always talk to Chocolate and say Uncle Billy to refer to y'all. What is it like to think about y'all's family legacy over there and what everything that's happened over there with y'all's family, but then what it's become these days, because NASCAR grew out of all of that?
It's kind of overwhelming when you think about it. It's humbling at the same time when you see videos and pictures and whatnot from black and white stuff from back in the day, and think about they were racing there at the same track doing the same thing that we're doing, that my 16-year-old is now doing. It's pretty cool to think about. There's really no other family that can hang their hat on that. So for us, we're very proud of that. But what we do weekly is not, we've said it before, it sounds kind of silly. This is not a hobby. This is a lifestyle. This is what we do. Every Saturday night you can count on we're going to be at Bowman Gray Stadium one way or another. And it was kind of cool because somebody pointed out to me the other day that my dad made the comment, I didn't know this, that my dad made the comment when he retired that I don't care if I quit driving, I'm still going to be at Bowman Gray Stadium. And I think that kind of sums it up, how our family has treated the place since 1948.
Jason, same question. When you think about family legacy and everything that your family's done over there and to what it's all become today.
Yeah, I mean, I'm proud of what my family's accomplished. I'm honored to be a part of it and been able to contribute to the success we've had, because we've all dedicated so much of our lives to it. But it's one of those, when you're there and you're racing, you don't think about it. Saturday night you don't think about it. Now you think about it. You think about it when you're not. You know what I mean? But it's not like you walk into place and think about what all my family's do. You're just walking in to go racing and go win races, because it's almost like we don't know any better. That's just what we're going over there to do, regardless of championships or who it is or whatever. Whether it's the NASCAR, Cup weekend, or it's just regular, so we just go over there to win races, because that's what we do.
Gary, what do you think about it all? What do you think about when you think about Bowman Gray and y'all's family history, and how does that all bounce around inside of your mind? There's got to be a lot of history up in there.
Well, I've been going over since I was probably 3 years old, and I remember a lot of stuff, that went on over there, and kind of funny about changing the guardrail now. The one before that, I remember seeing cars jump over it, getting a run start and jumping back over it. I mean, I remember one night Uncle Bobby went over the wall, And he spent the entire race trying to jump back over it. Because over at the Flagman he couldn't get a good enough running start, so he never did make it back over. But the walls have changed, and now they're a whole lot better than they were. Our past walls. But what I keep saying, I love going over there. They kid me all the time about knowing exactly how many days is left till the stadium opens, and I usually know.
Usually, yeah.
It's
Of course he
been a
knows.
part of my life, my whole life. And going over there and watching my daddy and my uncle run, and then I ran, and then now the boys are running, and even old Slate over there is running. So, man, as long as I got somebody I can go over and pull for, I'm going to go. And I can pull for these boys.
What do you remember about the old days when your daddy and your uncle were running? What's a story that might pop into your mind if you just thought about it for a second?
Well, probably the one that pops in my mind the most, I was real little, don't hardly remember it, but the night that Curtis Turner spun Bobby out, and back then they used to have drinks in bottles. And everybody in the grandstand started throwing bottles at Curtis Turner. They had to stop the race. That was, I think they went to their drinks in cups after that. But that, and of course later on after Daddy and Bobby was gone, I remember going over there watching Curtis Turner and Bobby Allison go at it in the infield. It wasn't nothing but a plain old demo. Just a lot of things like that pop in my mind. It's hard to tell all of them. There's many of them.
Do you remember the last Cup race there in '71, or those few years where they raced right before they ended it? Do you have anything that sticks out about those races? Were you there for those events, or were y'all busy doing other things?
No, I was there. In fact, when they went to the smaller cars, I think it was still the Myers Brothers Award race, but they went to the smaller cars, and I befriended Tiny Lund, and come to find out later he used to come up here and spend the night in Daddy's garage and stuff, and they worked together a lot, and he taught me a whole lot over there. He helped me set up my car. I had an old hobby car, and he helped me set it up, and really made things a whole lot easier on me. And then later on, he wanted me to come to work for him down there where his fish camp was, but I was still wanting to race. I wasn't going. I didn't want to be a helper. I wanted to be a racer.
What do you think about this deal with the Clash coming, bringing those Cup cars, those NASCAR stars back to the stadium?
Oh, it's great, but I don't understand a whole lot of it because I'm so used to living that life that it just don't grab me like it would somebody else. I'm glad they're doing it. I think it's going to be great for the stadium, and but I think it's going to be a crash fest. I mean, if anybody's going to pass anybody, it's going to be a crash fest. It ain't like you're going to just drive up under somebody. So, I'm kind of anxious to see it. Hope Burt.
Whoa, Burt, what was your dad about to spill?
Well, we've known for a couple weeks now that I was going to be running in the Cookout Clash here in the Cup Series. My dad knew it, but we told him not to say anything, and I guess he was getting carried away with his story, and he about let the cat out of the bag.
And if you haven't heard it yet, you're going to have to go check out my other video to find out more information about Burt and what he's doing. But let's get back to that story.
Oh, no
good.
Okay.
Hope Burt does good in the man.
Hope Burt, yeah.
Yeah,
Hope we all have a good modified show, yeah.
I hope Burt and Jason do, and Slate does good in the modified race.
That's funny. That's good.
I was wondering if he was going to do that.
He can edit that out, can't he?
Yeah.
Slate, what do you think when you there you go. That's it.
I was going to say, yeah.
When you think about your family history and you're just really getting started in it all, what kind of goes through your mind?
Well, I mean, it's just crazy to think about. It's 3 generations right here. It's crazy. I mean, the new walls and new lights and everything. I mean, it's just cool. And to see the big guys that race on Sundays that we watch every Sunday, see them come and race at our place, our playground. This is us, and it's just cool to think about that.
What is your earliest memory of Bowman Gray?
Dad and Tim Brown going at it. I mean, I remember them going at it a lot. I watch a lot of YouTube videos, so I see a lot of stuff about them. Papa, there's a lot of videos of him on YouTube too. There's videos of me on YouTube. Probably going to be some more coming soon. But I mean, it's the madhouse. So, what can you say?
What is it like racing against your dad?
Just another driver out there. I mean, if I see him, I try to treat everybody the same respect all the way around. That's how I was taught. So,
Burt, what's it like having your son out there these days and being able to kind of mentor him along?
It's cool for us to sit here and talk about it, but kind of talking about what Jason said and then listening to what Slate said. When I'm out there on the racetrack on Saturday night, when I'm out there under green, I don't think about Jason or Grandpa or Slate. I'm thinking about what I was supposed to be doing. Now, the video that was captured with me and Slate going back and forth, that was under caution. And I might be riding around under caution and saying, well, I wonder how Slate's doing. Where's Jason running? But when we're out there racing, it's just, like you said, another driver, another car number. But on the personal side of things, I'm sure my dad felt it just like I feel it, and Jason's probably going to feel it with Max one day. In this family, that's what we do. And then the son starts racing. 3 generations right here that prove it, and there's a 4th one that's gone that proved it. So it does make me proud to know that he's following in our family's footsteps and had some of the success that he's had at such a young age, because I can't imagine the pressure he's under, but I think he feels the same way I do when I was coming in. He probably puts more pressure on himself than anybody else does on him. And I can remember at one point when I was Gary's boy, and now he's Gary's grandson, Jason's nephew, Burt's boy. But it won't be long and you'll know him as Slate Myers.
Jason, kind of the same thing when you're racing against your brother or your nephew there. And I guess I should ask, how much overlap was there racing against your dad? What is it like out there? Put it out of mind, but like Burt said, think about it maybe under caution.
Well, you think about it, but with racing, you don't have time to think, but it's one of those to where if you're on the front, if Burt and myself or me and Dad are on the front row, on a restart, you're going to make sure you don't make a mistake, because you don't want to be the reason you tear up both race cars. You might be a little more cautious than normal, but you're not giving any less or doing any more. You might just be a little more paying attention to what you're doing, per se. I don't know if that makes sense, but I know that the very first win I ever had in a modified, I was started on the pole and he started second. So I think it was probably a lot more on him mentally than it was me. But I ended up winning the race, so it worked out pretty good. But,
I'll let him go.
I think that my dad felt that night how I felt a lot in my racing career, racing with Burt, is anytime Burt beats me, they let him win. He lets Burt win. Anytime I finish behind Burt, he's blocking for Burt. Like, I don't care if Burt wins, I'm trying to win. So I think my dad was in that situation. He heard that, well, Gary, Gary probably let Jason win.
My first win, I was on the front row with him.
Yeah, so.
And I beat him.
I let you win,
They
too.
let it. Oh, yeah, it must be easy when your dad blocking for you. I know.
Burt
But
did
he says the same thing. I let him
Burt
win.
did that to me playing video games when we were kids. We were playing a video game. He let me get out front and get a good lead, and he'd run me down. And then if he didn't win, he'd say, "Well, I'll let you win." So I never could really win either way. But I got a few trophies that say that racing wise I've won a few. But no, we've had fun, and it's Slate's going to have a lot on his plate that I'm not sure he's he knows it's coming, but he knows it's coming. He's gonna kind of grow up the same way I did racing. There's always gonna be that you're trying to get out from under that shadow that you may not even really be under, but you kind of feel like you are, because it's Burt Myers. You know what I'm saying? Like, I've been the brother. I can't imagine like you're growing up like it's Burt Myers. You know what I mean? And we're racing the same place he is. So it's, but I think he'll be all right. I think he's got enough of his daddy in him. He'll be all right. So, but yeah, it's. I don't even know where we're going now. Sorry.
Well, it's got to the point last year I was having to offer to give Slate $100 if he didn't tear a front bumper off. I mean, every race, he killed the front bumper. Well, man, you don't have to run in them people.
It got better there at the end. The first few races, it was bad, and then it kind of swapped. Dad was tearing off front bumpers every weekend, and
I started fussing at him about front bumpers, and then I started tearing them off.
Yeah.
There's a learning curve. I mean, like I said, we threw him in head first, and to think about times were different back then, just like in every sport. When you compare Michael Jordan and LeBron James, it's a different game. It's a different game. These guys now couldn't compete back then. It just wouldn't happen. And it's kind of the same way now. And then when you throw social media and all the hype that goes with it, so I can't imagine the pressure that he's under just from that standpoint before you even get on the racetrack. But there's a learning curve there whenever you think about growing up and watching Bowman Gray, and when people come from out of town, the first thing they think is, this is Bowman Gray, this is how you have to race. You have to knock people out of the way. You have to be rough and be aggressive, and that's not the case. It's not the case. You can race there. What gets you in trouble is racing with the people who have that mentality, and then you have to turn around and give it back to them, and the next thing you know, you got 2 tore up race cars. But with all the hype leading up to this, and several Cup guys that have reached out, and NASCAR people who have reached out, talking about, asking questions about Bowman Gray and what my thoughts were about the Cup race coming and stuff like that. And I always go back to, you do 100 great things and do one bad one. The one bad one's what makes social media and YouTube and everything else. If you come to Bowman Gray Weekly, you know that there's good racing there. And it is entertainment. We know that. But Bowman Gray has perfected that formula of entertainment and racing. And it's a great blend. And that's why you see a full field in every division. And that's why you see the grandstands full every week, because they have perfected that formula. So I can't imagine the pressure he's under. But like I said, we're proud of what he's done, and we'll see what he does.
How do you guys approach that Madhouse Classic that Saturday night? Is it like any other race?
Go ahead.
Yeah, it's going to be just like any other race to an extent, because
For us.
The grandstands are going to be full, but they're full normally. They didn't have to bring the Cup guys in to fill the grandstands up. Bowman Gray fills the grandstands up by themselves. So it's going to be exciting. There may be different faces in the grandstands we get to race in front of, but like it's going to be. I'm super excited.
I was told this morning it's a 60-40 split. 60 from out of town, 40 from in town.
I figured 50-50, so that's pretty close.
Enough.
Yeah,
Sold tickets from 44 states, 5 countries.
that's cool.
And it's about a 60-40 split on people who are weekly regulars and people who are coming for the first time
Well,
out of town.
we had talked about it. I think, and that's where that theory is, that a lot of people who have said for years, man, I gotta go there. I saw the TV show. I've heard about it. I watch it on Flow. I gotta go. Well, when you bring the Cup race there and make it a double header, it's a no-brainer. I'm going. And so I figured it'd be 50-50. So that's pretty cool stats. But I mean, the TV show's been 15 years ago, and we still get people messaging on Facebook and people that show up at the racetrack. Hey, I came from Kansas. I've never been here before. I saw y'all on the TV show. That just speaks volumes of what kind of place that place really is. I mean, there's nothing else like it.
This is a chicken and an egg question, I think, but what makes Bowman Gray special? Is it the racetrack action, or is it the fans who are there to watch it and all of their antics and excitement?
It's like a bowl of chili. If you take one ingredient out, it's not going to taste the same. Like, it takes all of it to make it work. It takes the fans, it takes the drivers, it takes the management, like it takes all of that to make it work. And if you start, it's not going to taste the same.
Well, the thing about Bowman Gray is we in this area, we say Bowman Gray's 30 minutes from anywhere. Starts at 8 o'clock on the dot. They have a curfew so you can be home on time. They allow the fans to come in the pits before and after the races are over with. You can get up close and personal to the drivers, shake their hand, get a picture. You're hanging over the wall, almost touching the race cars. Those things like that is what brings the fans. It's what, $12 to get in. You can bring a bag of food in with a little cooler and get your kids home and be home in time for bedtime. On the driver's side of things, the way it's designed for entertainment is Bowman Gray's always been the great equalizer. With their handicap system, at any given night, one of those 20 cars, if you got 20 cars on the racetrack, 12 or 14 of them may have a shot to win the race that night. And then every division has a full field because of that. And when you get out, you feel like you're a superstar because the crowd's making so much noise you can't hear yourself on the PA system. And to top it off, every driver leaves with cash in their pocket at the end of the night. That formula cannot be beat. And why other tracks don't adopt it, I don't know. But Bowman Gray does have a monopoly because they've had it for so long. And it's a flat quarter mile around a football field. So it's asking for drama and it's asking for entertainment and excitement. So like he said, all of that, it takes all of that. There's not one thing that makes Bowman Gray special. It's every bit of it.
When it's all said and done, and in 50 more years or whatever, what do you want your family legacy to be?
I mean,
Who looks that far?
yeah, I mean, you've heard me. I think we've done interviews before where I've told you that Slate asked me years ago how many wins I have. And honest to goodness, I know I got 11 championships. I don't know how many wins I have. I don't, because I'm not done counting yet. That's the way I look at it. One day, and I'm old and gray, and we're sitting on the porch, on the rocking chair, we'll add them up. But until then, our focus has always been what's coming next weekend. As far as what's remembered, the dedication and the passion that we have for racing in general. Even though we go to Bowman Gray every Saturday night, our family's always at a racetrack, even before Bowman Gray starts and after Bowman Gray's over. It's what we do from spring to fall, all the way through. So maybe if there's one thing, it's just the dedication that our family has given to racing in general.
I guess you hope that the legacies continue, even beyond from y'all's kids and beyond, right?
Yeah.
That'd be the best thing.
Yeah, you never know.
If you don't know how many wins you have off the top of your head, I can't imagine any of y'all can tell me how many total wins did the Myers brothers / Myers family have at Bowman Gray?
I don't know.
From Billy
I've
and
heard them
Bobby?
say it on the PA every now and then,
I'm
but
gonna
I
call
don't know.
Justin.
Yeah, Justin will know. I have no idea. I have no idea. I have to call Justin and ask him when I'm updating my hero card and stuff, and I have to ask him about championships and wins and stuff because I don't count them. It ain't time to count them yet.
We asked Richard Petty yesterday what he remembered from that 100th win that he got in 1969. He's like, I don't remember that.
Yeah.
race." Really?
Yeah.
He remembers it because he went back and read about it because they were coming to ask him
Didn't
about
Grandma
it.
give him the trophy that night?
Yeah.
His mom presented the trophy to
Yep.
Richard Petty that
That's
night.
what
I've
he
seen the
said. He
picture. I've
remembers
seen the
that.
picture. Yeah.
Sure did.
Anything else y'all think we should add? Is there any little nuggets out there that I'm missing out on? Gary, anything else from you? I asked you one good question, and you gave me some really good stuff. But is there anything else you remember about Bowman Gray that would be a cool little nugget for us?
Well, I'll tell you, one time I thought I was gonna get in big trouble. We was in the stands down there hanging over the wall when I was a little kid, and I had a popcorn box, and we flattened it out, and I slung it like that, and it went right under Carl Versus' hood and landed on the motor. Now you talking about scared to death. I said, man, if I take care of something, somebody's gonna come down here and get me. But when he took off, it blew out and everything was cool, but it sure put a scare in me.
It's funny how things will stick in your mind like that, right?
We call them core memories, don't we? Yeah, core memories.